biggest show in town is Huckleberry Hound for all you guys and gals. The biggest clown in town is Huckleberry Hound with all his cartoon pals. It's Huckleberry fun, it's for everyone, so come on, gather round. Get yourself all set, tune up your TV set for Huckleberry Hound, that oh so merry Chuckleberry Huckleberry Hound. The biggest show in town is Huckleberry Hound for all you guys and gals. The biggest clown in town is Huckleberry Hound with all his cartoon pals. It's Huckleberry fun, it's for everyone, so come on, gather round. Get yourself all set, tune up your TV set for Huckleberry Hound, that oh so merry Chuckleberry Huckleberry Hound, Huckleberry Hound, Huckleberry Hound, Huckleberry Hound. Who is always on the spot? Who is
Yogi Bear?
Who keeps cool when things are hot? Who does?
Yogi Bear.
Who believes a wild daydream and falls for some fantastic scheme, but always winds up on the beam?
Yogi Bear.
Who is always on the spot? Who is
Yogi Bear.
Who keeps cool when things are hot? Who does?
Yogi Bear.
Who believes a wild daydream and falls for some fantastic scheme, but always winds up on the beam?
Yogi Bear.
Who is always on the spot? Who is
Yogi Bear.
Who keeps cool when things are hot? Who does?
Yogi Bear.
Who believes a wild daydream and falls for some fantastic scheme, but always winds up on the beam?
Yogi Bear.
What do you believe in? Do you believe that birds can fly backwards? Hummingbirds do. Or do you believe that fairies are real? I'm a fairy, and my name is Tinkerbell, and I have a question for you. If you were a little boy,
if I were a little boy,
and could do anything that you wanted to,
do anything that I wanted to.
yes, if you were a little boy,
Yes, if I were a little boy,
what would you do?
what would I do? I'd fly away to Never, Never Land. I'd live in the trees and play in the sand. I'd wink at the stars and they'd wink at me. And oh, how happy I would be. I'd talk to tadpoles, wiggle with the frogs. I'd bark right back at the big brown dogs. I'd kiss the flowers like a honeybee. And oh, how happy I would be. I'd toot like a horn and boom like a drum. I'd make a cake from stale breadcrumbs. I'd become most anyone I wanted to be. So when I got in trouble, I'd become another me. I'd sleep with turtles, cackle with the hens, visit the sun with the larks and wrens, to be most anything I want to be. Oh, that's silly. No one could ever be a little boy once he's grown up.
But there was such a boy, and his name was Peter Pan, and he could fly, and he lived in Never, Neverland, and he had all sorts of adventures with a ferocious pirate named Captain Hook, and Captain Hook was afraid of nothing at all, except a crocodile.
I'm a lonesome crocodile, absolutely without fears. Sometimes, though I get so angry, I could cry big crocodile tears. I chase Captain Hook each day, afternoon into the night. If this clock would stop its ticking, he would get a terrible fright. I feel like a watch on a wrist. I wish that old clock would desist. There's part of my heart that stings whenever the timepiece, that partner in crime piece, whenever that 8-day clock rings. Pardon me, it's time to call the sun. Another day is ending.
Are you sure you'd like to be a little boy and meet silly old crocodiles like that?
Why, sure. Know what I'd do? I'd toot like a horn and boom like a drum. I'd make a cake from stale breadcrumbs. I'd become most anyone I wanted to be. So when I got in trouble, I'd become another me. I'd sleep with turtles, cackle with the hens, visit the sun in the larks and wrens. I'd be most anything I want to be. And oh, how happy, how very, very happy, oh, how happy I would be.
Would you go to Never, Neverland, where you might run into Captain Hook?
Captain Hook?
Did I hear someone calling that horrible crook named Hook? 'Cause I'll be frabble and jabble dabbed if a voice ain't shook my nook. 'Cause if I'm not mistook, someone's voice shook my nook, and I'll brook not a look at my cook. 'Cause a cook of a crook cooking for Captain Hook can't be shook like a book on a shelf. So if someone forsook Captain Hook and his cook, why, they'd better look after themselves.
Captain Hook, you can't frighten me. You aren't really so mean.
If I'm not extreme, things are not as they seem, and I'll scream and I'll steam and I'll scheme. When I scream and I steam, steamy makes me so mean, I might steam up or gleam up a storm. So if someone upstream has been mean in extreme, you'll have to excuse me now. I'm teaching my cook how to make crocodile steaks.
Goodbye, Captain Hook. Now, would you like to go to Never, Neverland?
I sure would.
All right. Close your eyes, everybody. Close them real tight, real tight. And now you and you, yes, and you too. You are Peter Pan, and you're a little boy. We're going to fly away to Never, Neverland.
We'll live in the trees and play in the sand. We'll wink at the stars and they'll wink at we. And oh, how happy, how very, very happy. Oh, how happy we will be.
Snow White was the daughter of a beautiful and lovely queen. When the lovely queen died, Snow White's father, the king, remarried. The new queen was very mean and vain. The only thing she wanted was to be the most beautiful woman in the land. And every morning she would ask her mirror,
"Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?"
And the mirror would then answer,
You, queen, are the fairest of them all.
In the meantime, Snow White was getting more beautiful with each day that passed. And finally, there came a time when the mirror answered the queen's question like this.
"Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?"
Queen, though you are fair, 'tis true, Snow White is now lovelier than you.
The queen flew into a rage. "I'll have this child taken to the woods where she will be lost and never returned again." So she bade a huntsman to take Snow White into the forest. Snow White was wandering in the forest, lost and helpless, when suddenly she came upon a little cottage. She stepped inside and couldn't help but notice how very untidy the little house was. She immediately went to work putting things in ship-shape order, and finally seeing a cozy little bed in the corner, she couldn't resist going over to it and lying down. She was so tired. In the evening, the little seven dwarfs returned to their house in the wood after a hard day's work digging for gold in the mountains. Immediately, they noticed the change in their little house.
Someone's been here, someone's been here. We can tell that someone's been here. Someone's been using our tables and chairs, our forks, our knives, and our fine kitchen wares. Someone's been here, the little dwarf said. Look, there she's lying in bed.
Who can it be? Who can it be? Look, there she is. She was so beautiful sleeping there that they didn't dare awaken her. But hearing them, Snow White jumped up in fright. But when she saw how little and kind they were, she told them her story. The dwarves asked her to keep house for them and not go away, for they loved her dearly. In the meantime, the wicked queen again asked her mirror,
"Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?"
Queen, though you are fair, 'tis true, Snow White living on the hill is fairer, fairer still.
Bitterly enraged, the queen, dressed as a poor peasant woman, went to the home of the seven dwarfs and gave Snow White a poisoned apple. When she had eaten it, Snow White fell into a deep sleep, never to awaken again. Sadly, the little dwarfs put her into a glass box beside the road, telling all who saw her that she was a princess. One day, a young prince chanced to pass by, and seeing the beautiful princess, he knelt down and kissed her gently. With that, Snow White awakened from her long sleep and fell in love with the prince. When the queen heard this, she choked up and fell dead, and Snow White and her prince reigned happily ever after.
I'm in a big, big hurry. I'm oh so late, so late. I have a date in Wonderland at 20 after 8. The king of Wonderland is waiting there for me. That's why I better hurry, hurry, hurry. Gosh, I'm late.
As Alice followed the funny little white rabbit, she found herself at the bottom of a deep rabbit hole. There she saw a long hall with many, many holes.
Oh my, the doors are all locked.
But nearby on a glass table, there was a golden key that fitted a very small door leading to a lovely garden.
That door is much too small for me to crawl through,
cried Alice. Then she saw a little bottle that said, "Drink me." And after drinking some, she grew smaller and smaller and smaller.
Oh dear, now that I'm so small, I can't reach the golden key on the table that will open the garden door. What shall I do?
She'd cried and cried, wondering how she could ever grow to her normal size again, when suddenly she saw a piece of cake that said, "Eat me." And she ate some, and soon she grew to her normal height again. Looking around, she saw a big grinning cat, and Alice said,
Which way should I go?
In that direction, you will find the Mad Hatter, the March Hare, and the Little Dormeows.
How do you do, little Alice? How do you do today? We're glad to know you, Alice. Have a cup of tea and then we'll all go out and play.
The Mad Hatter, the March Hare, and the Dormouse acted so silly that she soon left them and at last found herself in a lovely garden. As she wandered along, a parade of Wonderland soldiers came marching by. They were clubs, diamonds, and the King and Queen of Hearts. And they were on their way to the palace where the King and Queen were to try the Knave of Hearts for stealing some tarts.
The Knave of Hearts stole some tarts. Oh, what a shame. The Knave of Hearts stole some tarts, but who is to blame? Who is to blame?
At the trial, the Queen asked Alice what she knew about the stolen tarts. I know nothing about the stolen tarts. And the Queen shouted, off with her head! Oh, but Alice just laughed at them all. I'm not afraid. You're only a pack of playing cards. And at that instant, they all flew towards Alice, and they grabbed her and shook her and shook her. And to her great surprise, she awoke to find her sister shaking her and calling, Alice, dear, wake up, wake up. You've been sleeping a long, long time.
Alice was dreaming in Wonderland. She had a wonderful time. Alice is leaving Wonderland. Goodbye, little Alice, goodbye. Goodbye, little Alice, goodbye.
Oh, it takes a heap of man not to know when to quit. Yes, it takes a heap of man to go on. For when the chips are down and you know this is it, you've got nothing but your gun to lean upon. Wyatt Earp, such a man, Wyatt Earp. Nerves of steel, heart of gold, lightning hands. If you want the bravest lawman in the whole darn West, wait till Wyatt comes a-riding across the sands. He can shoot his gun as quick as the crow flies at dawn. He can hit a hummingbird in full flight. And every bad man knows that his chances are gone when he finds it's Wyatt Earp that he must fight. Wyatt Earp, such a man, Wyatt Earp. Nerves of steel, heart of gold, lightning hands. If you want the bravest lawman in the whole darn West, wait till Wyatt comes a-riding across the sands. Now the history books all tell of the pride of the West, and they say that Wyatt Earp had no fear. They say folks good and true knew that he was the best, and their town was safe from harm when Wyatt's near. Wyatt Earp, such a man, Wyatt Earp. Nerves of steel, heart of gold, lightning hands. If you want the bravest lawman in the whole darn West, wait till Wyatt comes a-riding across the sands.
Pinocchio, Pinocchio, this is the story of Pinocchio. This is the story of a little boy, an old wood carver's pride and joy. A boy who was carved out of wood and who wasn't really very good. One day when Pinocchio went to school, along the way he stopped to fool. We know that isn't very smart, and it almost broke his father's heart. Pinocchio, Pinocchio, why are you bad, Pinocchio?
I'm not bad, I'm good, but I don't do as I should. And whosoever could, if their head were made of wood.
Pinocchio sold his little red coat. He acted like a billy goat, and for just 3 coins of gold, he was left out in the freezing cold.
Well, Pinocchio walked around in the cold until he became very, very sick. And a good blue fairy took him in and put him to bed and called the very best of doctors for him. First, there was Dr. Crow.
The puppet is quite thick, I think. He's hovering right on the brink. But if he's not sick, I tell, 'twould be a sign that he were well.
And then there was Dr. Owl.
The puppet is quite well, I think. I really think he's in the pink. But if he's not well right quick, I tell you that he's very sick.
And just then, a little cricket hopped into the room and said,
Don't pay attention to these two. Chirpy Cricket knows what to do. It's just that he's not very smart, and his papa's home with a broken heart.
So you see, Pinocchio was very sick because he'd been such a bad boy.
I'm not bad, I'm good, but I don't do as I should.
But whosoever could, if their head were made of wood. Pinocchio, Pinocchio, here's more about Pinocchio. More of the story of the little boy, the old wood carver's pride and joy. A boy who was carved out of wood and who wasn't really very good.
The next day, Pinocchio was walking down a road looking for his father who was lost. A big stagecoach full of little boys came by. They all seemed to be having such a good time that Pinocchio jumped on board. And lo and behold, he found himself in the land of boobies.
Oh, all I do is play and play. I play the whole day long, and everything is bright and gay, so nothing can go wrong.
But it did.
Hee-haw, hee-haw, my name is Pinocchio. Hee-haw,
Pinocchio was sold, first to a circus and then to a peddler. And when the peddler went to wash him, the pure ocean water changed him from a donkey back to a little puppet again. But before Pinocchio could say chirpy cricket, he was swallowed alive by a tremendous whale. And you can imagine his surprise when inside that whale he found his father, alive and healthy, cooking himself a catfish.
I'm here, my father, gonna rescue you. Back to our home I'm taking you. We'll build a raft and sail right out of this great big whale. Ready? Now, when I pull the whale's tonsil and he yells, you push the raft out of his mouth. Here we go!
And back home they went. And believe it or not, the very next day when Pinocchio woke up, he was no longer a puppet, but a real live boy.
Oh, he's not bad, he's good, and he did do as he should. All the good he could, 'cause his head's not made of wood.
Toyland, Joyland, let's take a trip through Toyland, where the sugar fairies make a wish into a toy. Nightfall, dreams call, off we go on a starfall, through the air to Toyland heaven, for each girl and boy. We see the mommy dolls, their faces new and bright. They dance and sing a merry song, and ask us if we'll dance alone, as we join in the song. It's a wondrous sight. We prance and play all through the day, and far into the night. Bells ding, dong ding, all of the toys the song sing. The gay jack in the boxes jump around a hippie hop. Birds tweet so sweet, their little wings flapping. There's lots of fun in Toyland, and it never seems to stop.
Dawn falls, home calls, we hop aboard our starfall, and back home to our mommies, and our bed so crisp and white. Bells ring, birds sing, all of the world's awaking. And we're back home from Toyland till we go back to sleep.